Hello again, everybody. David Davis is with us here in the studio. It's always great to see you. Thanks for joining us on the programme. So much to talk to you about. We've got the autumn statement coming up, and you want the Chancellor to look again at how much money we give to overseas aid.
Yes, I mean, at the moment, there's a demonstration in Trafalgar Square as we speak, which is highlighting the fact that 2,400 people a day are dying in the Horn of Africa. Back in 2018, when there was a similar drought, we intervened very early, 5 times as much aid as we're going to give now, and managed to prevent deaths at all. Now, as I say, 2,400 a day, most of them children. Not many things in the budget are going to kill people, but this is an element where I think we have to bite our lip and do something about it, because at the moment it's gone down to 0.5%, and a good chunk of that is being used to deal with the problems the Home Office has with migrants. So it's a really, really important issue to me.
Yeah, the figure's suggesting that instead of 0.7, it's something like 0.3% that's being spent
That's
overseas
about right. That's
at the moment. But, you know, my viewers, or many of my viewers this morning will say, charity starts at home and we need the money.
Of course, and I think, most of your viewers will be saying, oh, well, we don't want to give money to this international organisation and that one. And I can sort of understand that. But actually, if you ask people, there's a famine here. People are dying children are dying from starvation, dying from diarrhea, from malaria, other diseases. When you put it that way, they think actually it's something that we traditionally, because of our imperial past, our Commonwealth past and so on, we traditionally have taken a lead on, and now we're not. And so, I understand. Look, everybody's got to tighten their belts, literally everybody, and we have to protect the poorest in our own society, but we also have to remember that there are poor elsewhere in the world, and, I'm very, 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 very clear on this.
So what is it that you want the Chancellor to say?
I would like the Chancellor to say that the money that's being driven out of the aid budget, which was actually promised for the aid budget, is now being used to deal with the immigration problem, is put back, so that at least the money that was promised is actually available to save lives. It's all about saving lives, full stop.
And you want it to go back up to 0.7%?
I'd like to go back up to 0.7%. I don't really expect that this year of all time, but I would expect at least the money that's promised to actually be paid over.
Mm-hmm. Talking about money, am I right in saying that you supported Liz Truss against Rishi Sunak?
No,
I didn't think that you had. I thought that you'd supported Rishi Sunak.
Well, a lot of people thought I would support Liz Truss because I'm Mr. Low Tax Tory. I've been for decades, right back to Margaret Thatcher. But bluntly, I thought the Truss team would give low taxes a bad name, and that's exactly how I put it to people who asked me. And I'm afraid that's what happened. The aim was perfectly fine. The aim, more growth, lower taxes and so on, but you have to do these things properly.
Cost us £34 billion.
I know. And the point...
That's an outrage, surely. It's an outrage.
Well, it's a massive disappointment. That's
another way of putting it.
They characterised themselves as being Thatcherites. Well, I knew Margaret Thatcher, and they weren't Thatcherites, because Margaret was very carefully got the books balanced first, and then step by step got the taxes down, got the growth up and so on. And she took every battle one step at a time. Trying to rush all this in a few months was, frankly, about a madness. And it means that, and that's one of the reasons I supported Rishi in the second round, because by the time we got to that point, we had to have somebody who would make the markets more confident, because, governments can't forever act in hock to the market. They've got to have some leeway, and I thought he would actually give us a lot more leeway, and I think that's where we'll go. I think we're going to have a tough budget this week. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But one thing I'm going to say, if I get called in response to the budget statement, is come back in 6 months. Don't try and make a prediction for the whole year. All the predictions that everybody's made for the last several years have been wrong.
OK. Should they take their severance pay, the pair of them, Kwasi Kwarteng and Liz Truss?
Well, if I were them, I wouldn't. I've never taken severance pay in government, and if I were them, I wouldn't. It really, it's a very short time. It wouldn't. If you're in business, you'd get a fraction. you know, reflecting the amount of time you were there. And so if I were them, I wouldn't. But, you know, it's their call. Is this a personal thing? You know?
Final thought before I let you go. Do you want to step up and defend Dominic Raab?
Yeah, look, I mean, I've been watching all this. I mean, listen, I mean, when Gavin Williamson was sacked, I said that was the right thing to do because he plainly, you know, he presented himself almost as a bully, all this tarantula nonsense and so on. You know, that plainly has been his style. It's not the style with Raab. I mean, I know Raab well. I brought him into politics. I employed him. And, you know, I've seen all sorts of nonsense blown up into a story. Oh, he threw a tomato across the room. You know, I mean, Gordon Brown threw phones at people and so on. So,
Doesn't
actually,
make it right, though, does it?
No. But the difficulty here is, I mean, certainly in some of the departments he's worked in, he's had to drive a very tough agenda. You know, I mean, the Brexit department, where I was bypassed by the civil servants, quite wrongly, quite in breach of the Civil Service Code, and the same thing happened to him. So I think, you know, he's a tough character, but he's not a bully. And I've seen this before. I've seen this accusation before, and I've seen it disproved with the lawyers before. So he's not a bully. He's a tough man. He drives, you know, a strong department. He's got lots of people who actually came back into the department to work for him. So, you know, he does, you know, he drives a hard job, but that's what you need to do in government. At the moment, we've got the toughest tasks facing this government that we have had for decades. And we need people who will drive the government forward. It doesn't mean bullying. It means being demanding, and that's what you should be as a minister.
OK, it's always great to see you. Thanks for doing it. It's been a bit soggy this morning,
Aren't I just?
Yeah, you've been out in the rain,
Hope my opinions aren't as soggy as my clothes.
It's always great to see you. Thanks a lot, David.
Good to see you.
Thank you.